This video is brought to you with support from my patrons on Patreon.
Hey everybody, it's Jimmy from the DIY and Digital, and today I've got a channel update plus some Etsy store announcements that I know a lot of you have been waiting for and some other exciting news. Welcome back everybody. Today I've just got an overall channel update. I like to do this about once every quarter, change of the seasons, just to tell you what's going on with the channel, what some future plans are, and some other things that I have going on. And this is going to be an especially exciting one because I'm doing the largest number of Etsy store buildings that I have launched in a single turn that I have ever done. I don't think I've done this many. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buildings that I'm debuting today, so it's going to be really exciting. Plus I have some other exciting news that I want to talk about that some of you kind of already know about. But first let's talk about what's going on in the channel going into April and May and then leading into the summer months. As we all know, the majority of times that we do work on the model railroad tends to be fall, winter, and early spring, and that's because the weather outside is not that great. And it's a good time to be inside and enjoy a hobby that's in a controlled environment, like for instance my garage here, or a spare bedroom or something like that. And that's what really makes winter the real model railroading season. We work year round, but winter is really when we tend to get a lot of work done. So what am I doing over the spring and summer? I'm actually going to be doing a lot of construction on my new layout, the DDRR 3.0. That's a working title right now. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it. So you're going to be following along with the construction. I've also got some cool other ideas for some small project railroad type things that'll be quick and easy to build and should be a lot of fun. We're also going to be implementing a lot of Arduino projects with this new layout. So we're going to be doing things like, for instance, this is the current sensor that we've worked on for the past few Arduino tutorials, and this is actually put onto a PCB board that I designed, and it makes it very easy to just place it. So we're going to be working on things like that. So a lot of exciting stuff coming up on the channel, plus more 3D printing, looking at some more civic type buildings. You know, I've already done a town hall. I'm looking at police stations, fire stations, other things like that. I'm even considering the little details like vehicles and stuff like that. Just thinking about that. I don't want to say I'm doing those right now, but just thinking about that. But speaking of 3D printing, this is the biggest part of the video. This is the biggest announcement because I'm announcing a lot of buildings. So hang on right now. Let's go ahead and dive into what buildings are being announced. First is one that I have gotten the most messages about since I designed it, and people have been asking me when is it going to be available, and that is the N-Scale chemical plant. Now you may remember the original design of the N-Scale chemical plant. Well, the bottom line is that really didn't print that well, so I decided to go back to the drawing board on it, and when I did, I decided to make it a more modular and customizable design. So what we have now is we have a chemical plant building, we have a loading area with an elevated pipe that goes into the chemical plant building. We've got a big stack that has ladders and all sorts of scaffolding and supports around it that you can go in and put pretty much anywhere on your layout. Plus we have some chemical tanks and some piping that just looks pretty generic that you can stick just about anywhere. So this is the new N-Scale chemical plant, and if you're one of my patrons, you know I've been designing this for a while and tweaking it, and you also know what I'm about to say, which is I'm going to have additional kits available so that you can expand the chemical plant. So if you're looking to have a small industry on your layout for a chemical plant, you can just get this one and you should be good to go. And speaking of that, the pricing for this is going to be, it's going to be my most expensive model that I've done so far, but even then I don't think it's too bad. It's going to be $20 for this entire kit, and really the reason for that is that it takes 3 printers running just to get a kit out, versus most of my buildings it's just one. And so that's really the reason that it's going to cost a lot, but you get a lot for your money right there. And what I'm also going to be doing, and like I said, my patrons know this already, is I'm going to have expansion kits. So they're not available right now, and it's going to take me a little while. It may take buying a few more 3D printers to get the capacity to make them, but I've already got the parts designed, and I want to make expansion kits so that you can make, if you want to make a large chemical plant facility, you're going to be able to do it with these expansion kits, and they're all going to be reasonably priced, and you're going to be able to build them and detail them and really have a customized chemical plant or any sort of facility that looks industrial with piping and things like that. This really wasn't designed so specific that it had to be a chemical plant, so you can use this for a lot of different things. But N-Scale Chemical Plant is now out on the Etsy store. I've got 5 of them ready to go right now, so they are $20. You can check it out in the link in the description below. Okay, the second N-Scale building that I am debuting is going to be actually a redesign of a building that was available for a while, and that is the N-Scale warehouse. It's really just a generic industry building. It's a modern looking building, and what I've done basically is I made it larger and I made it easier for me to print. Now with this building, I do have to print it on my Prusa, which is a filament printer, which doesn't allow for nearly as much detail. So what I've decided to go is with buildings that I have to print on my Prusa, I decided to kind of take the detail down a little bit and really make it something that you can customize. So you're not going to see as much detail in these buildings, but because of that, I'm going to take the price down. The original price of the N-Scale warehouse was $15. The new N-Scale warehouse is going to be $12, and imperfect prints will be even cheaper than that. I don't have any right now, but imperfect prints will be a little bit less than that. You're going to get a little bit less detail, and it may need a little bit spit and polish to really get exactly what you like, but it's going to be a little bit less expensive, and it's going to be more customizable, and you can just put a ton of details on it. So N-Scale warehouse redesign has been complete, and it is $12 in the Etsy store. Okay, so the next buildings are something that a lot of you have also asked me about, and I can finally say, yes, I'm getting into it. HO scale buildings. Yes, they are finally here. If you remember a while back, I did a one-time run of a couple of HO scale buildings I designed. They were a bit too difficult to print with the current 3D printing technology that was easily available, but with monochrome printers getting a lot cheaper and a lot more affordable and a lot more accessible, that is, this has made the ability to print HO scale buildings that I've designed for this size of printer a lot easier and a lot less time consuming. So HO scale buildings 1 and 2, which are the ones that I sold last time, are coming back. And I'm also debuting HO Scale Building 3 and HO Scale Building 4. You can check those out right here. I'm really, really happy with them. These are some smaller buildings than what you would consider my N-Scale buildings, but these are also probably about the largest buildings that I can print on the resin printers with high detail without getting a larger resin printer, which right now you can't get a hold of the more affordable ones because everybody is scooping them up. So they're a little bit too expensive right now for me to grab and be able to print. So, but HO scale buildings 1 through 4, these are going to be in regular production every month. So this is not going to be a one-time run. HO scale buildings are going to be readily available now from my Etsy store. And all 4 of these buildings are going to be $15 each. So flat price right there, $15 each. And I actually have some imperfect prints. I don't have them listed right now, but the imperfect prints are going to be $10 each, which is a really, really, really good deal. Now, the most common issue that I'm running into with the imperfect prints is because these prints are so heavy that they tend to have a slight lip or a lift off in one corner, but it's something very easy to hide. I've also got some issues with the supports on the window details, but that's what you're going to see in the imperfect prints for the most part. Otherwise, I've pretty much got the prints nailed down. But $15 for the regular, $10 for the imperfect prints on buildings 1 through 4. My last building is actually the largest building that I have ever sold, and it is an HO scale industry. It is an HO scale small warehouse, so kind of the same design language as the N-Scale warehouse, just a lot smaller. I can't print the same size warehouse in HO scale as I can in N-Scale just yet, but maybe working on that, who knows. But this is another simple building, and it is one that is really meant to be detailed, one that is meant to be kind of a blank canvas for you to do whatever you want with. It's generic enough to where it can be made into just about anything. So really a blank canvas building, really not a high detail building. It's really one that you can just put your own mark on. And for that reason, I'm going to price it at my lowest level of an HO scale building, which is going to be another $12 building, same as the N scale warehouse. And the reason I'm doing that is because you're not getting the same detail as you are with my resin prints. It's just not it's not possible to do with the FDM printer and make a lot of them. So I've decided to keep this one simple and be able to be detailed and customized by you guys. So it's really a blank canvas building, HO scale warehouse. It is $12 in the Etsy store. So those are all of my buildings that I am debuting. That's a lot of buildings, and I am very happy to be able to finally bring you guys HO scale buildings. I'm very happy to be able to bring the chemical plan. I got that ironed out, and be on the lookout for those chemical plan expansions, because that's going to be coming up in the coming months as well. My last announcement has me very excited, and about a month and a half ago, the people over at Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine reached out to me to ask me if I wanted to be part of the Trainmasters TV team. For those of you that don't know, Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine has a video subscription service called Trainmasters TV, and it's loaded with tutorials and layout tours and all sorts of model railroading videos that are just a really great repository of information from experts from all over model railroading. And I'm really honored that they asked me to be a part of this team, and I'm really excited to be bringing a monthly segment to Trainmasters TV called Jimmy's Train Works. Now it's going to be different from YouTube, obviously. YouTube is really, my channel is really geared towards bringing people into the hobby, taking the intimidation factor out of the hobby, and figuring out some innovative and creative ways to do things and show people so that it can take the teeth and the intimidation out of doing certain things in the hobby. Trainmasters TV, my segment Jimmy's Train Works, is going to be more of a intermediate to expert level. We're going to be talking about some very specific things with model railroading. We're also going to be talking about some very specific issues in model railroading. So it's going to be covering some intermediate to higher level topics within the hobby itself. So should be a lot of fun. I want to thank you guys so much for all your support, because really I don't feel like this would have been possible without you guys. So thank you guys so much. I know that some of you already have Trainmasters TV subscriptions. I hope to see you over there. It's going to be a ton of fun. I have a link to Trainmasters TV in the description below. So thank you guys. Thank you, because literally none of this would have been possible without the support of this community that's not only built around this channel, but it's built around this hobby. And I am forever grateful for how amazing this community is. So that is my spring channel update. This is a pretty big update, a lot of stuff going on in the workshop here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. They're listed right here. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and you can see things way in advance. Like my patrons knew that I was working on a chemical plant redesign for a while now, because I've been posting pictures of it on my Patreon page for them to see. So as little as $1 a month can get you access to things like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, and happy railroading. Hey guys, I know I normally do bloopers here, but I want to talk about coffee and trains this Thursday. A lot of you have asked me about Etsy and why I do Etsy versus eBay or something like that. And I decided that since I did a big Etsy store reveal today, that I was going to do a special coffee and trains, and it's the perfect time to talk about Etsy, talk about why I use Etsy over something like eBay, and some of the benefits of it, because I know several of you have talked to me about doing your own thing on Etsy. So I want to talk about my insights and what I do on Etsy and how I do it. And yeah, so it should be a lot of fun, should be an interesting conversation, especially some of you that may be looking to get into Etsy and designing your own custom things to sell. So Thursday, coffee and trains, talking about Etsy.